So I asked the partners to give me what are the pitfalls, because we hear, oh, well, property damage isn't that hard, so we just do those ourselves. So that does come up. When we're involved, we hear a different story, which sometimes, well, it sounds something like, wow, I didn't know that we could do that. So I wanted to come up with at least 7 of the I didn't know we can do that to share with you, because if you are dealing with something, or you might have had it lost in the past, and you might say, ooh, I could have done that, but for the next one, you're going to be ready. So these are what we came up with, and some of them might not seem overly, have a large magnitude to it, but when you start thinking about dollar amounts and some of these losses, it could be substantial. So the first one is the repair and replace discussion. What I've learned from our partners, the experts here, is that there's an opinion here. Okay, so now you're kind of in a little bit of a gray area, but there are some things that you should know, basically what your rights are, and of course what's the best thing for your company, and how to make sure that the adjusters group is a part of that solution early on. These are the things that you're going to want to consider.
Yeah, inevitably, or not inevitably, but often you will find that there's, like I said, a difference of opinion on whether a piece of equipment or a structure or whatever it may be can be repaired or needs to be replaced. And you want to start those discussions early with adjusters, so like I mentioned earlier, you don't start spending money on one thing and find out that they're not going to pay for it. So, you want to credibly build your case. Might involve bringing in some outside engineering help or whatever it may take. And if you can get the buy-in from the adjusters beforehand, then all the better. There are various ways of arguing, your points that can involve other areas that maybe support you. That, if the insurance company is saying it can be repaired and you're saying it can be replaced, you may not even need to get to that resolution on which is right, if you can prove that you can get a replacement there in place in operations, X number of months before it could be repaired, and in thus saving BI during that 6-month period. That's going to save $10 million, whatever it may be. That gives you $10 million of expense reduced loss that you can use in your argument with the insurance carriers. And any adjuster would look at that and say, well, yeah, we'll take a $10 million savings to spend an extra $1 million on a piece of equipment.
Yeah, but it's good to have them a part of what you're doing when you're doing it, rather than later, if they bring up, well, we already got quotes, the repair was only going to cost this, and you replace it, so we're not paying for that. These are the kinds of things that
you'll notice a consistent theme between communication and credibility really goes a long way when dealing with insurance companies.